If you're ambitious but lazy, this video is for you. You really want to achieve all your goals, but there's something that makes you procrastinate and prevents you from getting where you want to be. Time passes, you watch motivational videos, read articles about productivity, fill yourself with ideas, but when it's time to act, nothing happens. You postpone, get distracted, and at the end of the day, regret hits you. And the worst part? It repeats itself. Again and again. It's as if you're stuck in a vicious cycle where real change never comes. You feel the weight of time passing, see other people advancing, achieving goals, and you wonder, why can't I simply do what needs to be done? Perhaps you think the problem is a lack of discipline, or that you simply weren't born to be productive. But what if I told you that the real problem isn't laziness? And it also has nothing to do with weak discipline or lack of willpower. There's a psychological and scientific reason that makes you procrastinate. Something that keeps people in an endless cycle of stagnation. And today I'm going to show you how to break out of this cycle once and for all. Watch this video until the end, because I'll give you not only the explanation for this problem but also a practical method to solve it. A step-by-step approach that you can start applying today. Ready? Let's go. We always spend our days idealizing, man, it's going to be amazing to live my dream life, reach my goals, and get everything I wanted. But then we return to reality and realize we haven't gotten there yet. And we also realize there's a long road ahead, various obstacles and different challenges in our path. And you know what? The hardest part isn't, let's say, starting but maintaining the rhythm in the first few months. You have to face this situation without giving up. And man, it's difficult. You have no certainty if it will work out, no guarantee that it will bring you success, and you almost never will have support from those whose opinion you value, like your parents or friends. So you start making excuses for yourself. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough support. And most of the time this starts to hurt you. But you know what hurts even more than that? Staying exactly where you are now. Most people believe that procrastination has to do with a lack of discipline or motivation. But the reality is that the problem lies in what we call mental inertia. Remember those physics classes in high school? There's a principle called inertia, which states that an object at rest tends to remain at rest, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion. Now, think about this applied to your life. If you spend the entire day on your phone, watching TV, or scrolling through social media feeds, your brain gets used to this state of rest. It enters a kind of autopilot mode of procrastination. And the problem doesn't stop there. When you finally decide you need to act, your mind sees the task as something gigantic and scary. It's as if it were an impossible mountain to climb. The result? You end up avoiding the work and looking for small distractions to alleviate the discomfort. And you must have gone through this several times. You sit down to study or work, but before starting you decide to just take a quick look at your phone. And when you realize it, hours have passed and you've done nothing. This doesn't happen because you're lazy. It happens because your brain is trying to protect you from effort. It wants to save energy and avoid anything that seems uncomfortable or difficult. The good news? There's a way to trick your brain and break out of this cycle. Now that you understand what's holding you back, let's talk about how to get out of this state and finally take action. Our brain avoids tasks that seem too difficult or too long. If you say, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to lose 10 kilograms, or I'm going to learn a language, your mind already imagines the size of the work and enters escape mode. The solution? Break the task down into micro-actions. If your goal is to write a book, start by writing just one sentence a day. If you want to read more, read just one page. If you want to exercise, do just 5 push-ups. This might seem small, but the secret is in the initial impulse. After you start, it becomes much easier to continue. And you know what's most interesting? Your brain starts to like progress. With each small victory, you gain dopamine, the hormone of pleasure and motivation. This creates a positive cycle where each small action drives you to continue. If you depend on your willpower to act, you've already lost. Willpower is like a battery that drains throughout the day. The more decisions you make, the less mental energy remains. So, instead of fighting against this, use the strategy of routines. If you want to go to the gym, leave your workout clothes ready the night before. If you want to read more, keep a book always by your bed. If you want to be more productive, organize your environment to minimize distractions. When you make actions easy and predictable, they happen on autopilot. And you know what's better? After a few weeks, your brain accepts this as the new normal. If it's still difficult to start, use the 2-minute rule. You don't need to study for 3, 4, 5 hours. Just open the book and read for 2 minutes. You don't need to run 5 kilometers. Just put on your shoes and go out for a walk. What happens next is almost magical. Most people continue beyond the 2 minutes. And do you know why this happens? Remember inertia? This happens because objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Once we start, we gain momentum, and this momentum keeps us going for longer. In the beginning, it might be like pushing a ball uphill, but once we overcome inertia, the descent becomes much easier. Now that you know how to break procrastination, there's something extremely important you need to avoid: giving up too soon. Many people start excited, but after a few weeks, when results haven't appeared yet, they give up. And here's the truth that no one likes to hear: success never comes quickly. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Cristiano Ronaldo has been training obsessively for decades to be one of the best players in the world. You'll realize that starting something was the easy part. The hard part was maintaining consistency until seeing some results. If you continue taking small steps every day, sooner or later you'll get there. Thomas Edison only found the solution after failing thousands of times. And you're thinking of giving up on the third attempt? The problem was never failure, but rather giving up before giving time for things to really work. Mistakes are not just an inevitable part of learning. Creating something from scratch can take months, and in the beginning the results can be discouraging. For example, I took weeks to make my first video for this channel, and even then it ended up with very few views. This can destroy anyone's motivation. But those who understand the game know that improvement requires time, patience, and the ability to learn from mistakes. Of course, making the same mistakes without changing anything doesn't help. What really makes a difference is developing the habit of stopping, analyzing what went wrong, and seeking a new path. Accept mistakes, and instead of seeking perfection, focus on progress. The question worth asking is always, are the results improving? Well, if you've made it this far, it means a part of you wants to change. And now comes the most important question: what are you going to do with this knowledge? You could simply close this video and go back to your routine. But what was the point of watching it all the way through? What was the point of the time you spent? You need to act. Make this new knowledge you've just acquired worthwhile. You need to understand that the turning point is within yourself. You know that goal you swore to achieve this year? Go after it. Make it happen. Go all the way. And now that you've understood this, tell me, what's still holding you back from achieving your dreams? What's the next excuse?